Hello friends, in this video we will see structure. Before seeing what is structure, we will see what is the exact requirement we have. So we have a requirement of storing 10 books information. So how can we do that? We can use an array of type int, say book number of size 10, and an array of book float, that is book price of size 10. So this way we can save the value of book numbers and the book price in two different arrays. But what happens? They are not related. They are two different arrays and there is no relation between the book number and the book price. So you have to keep track of which book belongs to which book number and which book price belongs to which book. So it is very difficult to manage the application or the software. So what is a solution for this? Solution is Struct. So we have to think in real world way. So what does it mean, thinking in real world? So book has book number, title, price, etc. So now book is considered to be as one separate object. So it has some features. So we want something to be declared as a book, and that book should have all the features together. It should not have a number separate, title separate. It should be binded together. All the number, title and price of one book should be binded together and kept in one place, so that whenever we can access this book directly. And we have car. Car also has color, brand, model number, price, etc. So all these features of car should be kept together. And box has serial number, weight, manufacture date, and account. So a bank account has an account number, account holder name, a minimum balance, current balance, etc. So these things which you see in red should be defined as a whole, as a whole entity, and should not be declared with separate variables. So how do we do that? So to use this, we use struct keyword in C programming. In C language, we have a keyword called struct. So we make use of this and we declare a new user defined data type book. So here struct is the keyword and book is a name for the data type. So this is not a variable. So we are not talking about a variable here. Book is a data type, user defined data type. As you see the primitive data types, int, float, char, all these are primitive data types, but book is user defined data types. So inside we enclose all the book number, book name and everything in a curly braces. Initially we declared a variable book number of type int and book name of type char and book price of type float. So we have three primitive variables inside the struct book, and we have to end the struct structure using a semicolon. You can see here. So this way we can define a new user defined data type book. You can also define a user defined data type car, account, everything. So how to declare the variables of type book? We declare a variable as we declare a normal int or float variable, book B1, B2. So we have declared two variables, B1 and B2. B1 is also of type book and B2 is also of type book. Similarly, it's very similar to what we declare a primitive variables like int, float, everything. So int A, B. So A and B are variables of type int. Here book B1 and B2 are type of book or the variables of type book. Now to access the first book and book number of the first book, you can use b1 dot book number, and you should use the dot operator. So dot operator to access the individual features of the book, the value inside the individual features, or to assign a value inside the individual features, you have to use b1 dot book number. Book number is of type int. You have to give an integer value. We are given book b1 dot book number is equal to 111, and b2 dot book number is equal to a. So since we have declared it as a simple character variable, we can give only one character to it. So we will see later, we will give a character string so that we can give the complete name of the book. And b1 dot book price is 300. Similarly, for book b2, we can give book number is equal to 112. Book name, b2 dot book name is equal to b. b2 dot book price is equal to 350. So this way we can separate the books and keep the individual features of each book together. We don't have to separate the individual features of one book of the same book. We can separate the books, the main entity book, and bind together the features of the book in one variable called b1, and we can access using a dot operator, b1 dot book name, b1 dot book number, b1 dot book price. So once we assign the value, we can print the values of each book. Say book 1 number is %d. In place of %d, b1 dot book number will be printed. Similarly, b1 title, book 1 title is %c. It's a character variable, so we type b1 dot book name there and b1 dot book price. Similarly, we can print b2 dot book number, b2 dot book name, b2 dot book price. So we will see struct arrays. So if we have similar data, like arrays can save similar set of data. So we don't want to use too many variables in our program, variable names. So what we do, we use arrays. Arrays can store similar set of data, similar data type. So we have declared an array of type book, b of 5. Then we have declared a variable called dummy of character type. So we observe this dummy variable. So we will see why we have used the dummy variable. And we have int I, that is I variable of type integer. So then we have used a for loop to get the value of each book and each individual values of book, individual features of book. So first we say enter the number, name and price of book %d. So in place of %d, the I value is being printed. So it says enter number, name and price of book 0, because 0 is the first index of array. So it says book 0. So then the user enters a value book number, so will be taken into b of I, that is b of 0. I is initially 0, b of 0 dot book number. So don't forget about the ampersand. Ampersand is very important. So it's a normal integer variable. You can see big book number is a normal integer variable. So we have to use %d here. So once we enter book number and press enter, so the enter will go to this dummy character. So it's scanning that character, the enter character. So what happens if we don't write this scanf? So when the user enters the book number and press enter, the enter goes into book name. So here the book name, we are using a string instead of a character variable. We are using a string, character array of probably 20 size or 30 size. So gets is used to get the string. So if we don't write the dummy variable, if we don't scan the dummy variable, what happens? So once we enter the book number and press enter, the enter will go to the book name, and then we cannot enter the values for the book name, and it directly goes to the scanf book price. So we have to use a dummy variable. We'll see what happens, how we can get rid of this dummy variable in a different way. So scanf is used to take the book price, and book price is of type float. So b of 0 dot book price. Once the loop is completed, I increments to 1, and I 1 less than 5 is true. Again, the values of b of 1 dot book number, b of 1 dot book name, and b of 1 dot book price is retrieved from the user, and then I increments to 2. So 2 less than 5 is again true. B of 2 dot book number, b of 2 dot book name, and b of 2 dot book price will be taken from the user. Similarly, until I becomes 4, the values are taken till b of 4 dot book number, b of 4 dot book name, and b of 4 dot book price. Once I becomes 5, I increments to 5. 5 less than 5 is false, and it comes out of the loop. So we can take values for all the books from b of 0 to b of 4. So how to output the value? So I just printed a simple statement here. It just prints book number and 2 tab characters. It just prints 2 tab characters and title, and again 2 tab characters and price. So this is just for pretty nice look. We get a pretty nice look because of this /t/t. We will see that later in the program. And we have used a for loop to print the value of an array. So here you can see we have used, actually it should be a %f here, %d, %s, and %f. It should be a %f here. So %d, we print the value of b of 0 dot book number first, and we print 2 tab characters, and we print b of 0 dot book name in place of %s, and we print 2 tab characters, and then in place of %f it should be %f here. So in %f we print the price. Again, after that we print a new line character. So cursor goes to next line, and then the loop I increments to 1. 1 less than 3 is true. So we have to use depending on how many books you want to print. If you want to print 3 books, you can go for 3 books, 0, 1 and 2. If you want for all the 5 books, you have 0 to I less than 5. You can enter I less than 5 here. So this way we can print the value of all the books. We will see that in a program in a few minutes. So struct and pointers. So before getting into struct and pointers, so one important thing I would like to tell you is C++ is an advanced language than C. So if you want to learn C++, it is very important that you understand structure, because this is where you are starting to bind the data together and started thinking real world objects. So here in Struct we are going to bind all the data, that is the variables, together into single data type. For example, book, car, account. So this is very important in C++, because in C++ we not only bind the variables, we also bind the functions which related to the book. For example, get price of the book, get title of the book, change title of the book. Similarly, change the ISBN number of the book. So these functions can also be binded together and made one data type. So in C++ we call it as a class, and we can then create variables of type class book. Those are called objects actually. So C++ is an object-oriented programming language. So you should be very well versed with structures before you get into C++. If you don't understand structure, it is very difficult for you to understand C++. So we'll see how to return an array of struct to the calling function. So this is the function definition what we have here. So the function name is getBook. So we are using a function to get the book values into an array of books to array of books. So we are using an input parameter type of book, a pointer to the address. So we are declaring one book, B number, B name, and dummy, and B price, four local variables in this function, and these variables are not accessible by the calling function. It can also be a main function can call this function. The main function cannot access these variables, so only these are local to this function. So then we say enter book number, name, price of the book. So the user will enter the book number. So once he enters the book number and presses enter on the keyboard, so that enter will be saved in dummy. It goes to the it will be in the input stream. So when the user enters a variable book number and presses enter, that enter key will be in the input stream, and that data will be taken by the gets B name. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want that enter symbol to get into the B name. So we want that into a dummy character, and then we can enter the book name, a complete name. So it's a string. You can see B name is of type string as a character array. So after that we can take the B price. So we have taken the book price and number and name in these three variables: book name, book number, B name, and B price. So we have to assign these values to the actual book pointer. So when we call this function, we have to send the address of the array, the book array, whichever book. So here we are not using an array, we are using a simple one. We want to just get the value of only one book. So we send the address to this pointer. So B pointer will contain the address to point that individual book in the structure. So we have to use B underscore PTR, because B underscore PTR as the address of the actual book which is sent by the function, calling function. We'll assume that main function is calling get book. The main function will send the address to B pointer. So to point the individual values, you have to use a hyphen and arrow mark, or the dash hyphen mark, arrow mark. So you have to B pointer dash hyphen arrow mark book number and then assign the value to it. You don't have to use star pointer. You should not use star B underscore PTR. Star B underscore PTR should not be used. So then to copy from this string, so we have taken value to this string and we have to put that in to book name of the book pointer. So we use B pointer dash arrow mark and put the value there. Similarly, price, B pointer dash arrow mark price, so we put the value. So these are pointing to the same book. For example, in main function, if there is a book called B1 and we have sent the address of B1 to this pointer, so this B pointer is pointing to same book 1 memory address. So we are accessing the same memory address and we are putting the value directly to the memory, so that main function can access it with just B1 keyword, B1 variable. So in main function we just send the address. You can see here we're sending the address of book B1, get book B1. So this address is given to this B pointer variable. So B pointer, to point the individual values of book, we have to use B pointer dash arrow mark book name. A string copy, again we are copying the value taken in the B name to B underscore pointer dash arrow mark book name. And again, to put the price, we have taken price in B price in this function. We have to put that value into actual. The pointer is pointing to the book and we have to place it in an individual location price. So we use this notation to give the values. So once we say this, we call this function, we can take the values for all the individual features in the book B1. So if you have one more book B2, you can call the same function and send the address of the same book and get the values. So you can call this function n number of times, so without having to rewrite the code again and again. So functions, one advantage of functions is once you write the code, you can call n number of times with different values and different addresses. So after that we can print the value using a normal printer statement, b1.book number, b1.book name, and b1.book price. We'll get the values. So this way we can use pointers in structure. You can also use pointers using a structure arrays. Here I've just given an example of single book you can use structure arrays and pointers together. So we will see some programs in this video. So we have a program here. So I've declared a data type book. This is a new data type, user defined data type called book. So now we can declare variables of type book. So the book contains int, book number, a character array called book name. We are given a size 50. Float price. So we have declared 3 primitive types inside the book data type. So now book is a data type. You can create variables of type book. So here I am declaring 2 variables b1 and b2 of type book. So now we can access the individual values of book. You can see b1 dot book number is equal to 1, and we are using b1 dot book name. We have to use a string copy function to get the value to this book name. We can't use it directly. So this way we can use string copy function. So to use string copy function, string cpy function, we have to include the string.h library. So to use the gets, we use always stdio.h get, scanf, printf, we get it from stdio.h. But string copy, string cat, all these functions we get it from string.h library. So now again b2 dot book number, b2 dot book number, string copy, where b2 dot book name we copy from this string to b2 dot book name, and b2 dot price is 300. So this way we can input values. This is how we give input values, and we can output the values simply. The first book one, we have input value like this. The book number is %d, the book name is %s, the book price is %f. So we print the individual values. Similarly, we print for the book 2 also. We'll compile this program to Alt F9 to compile the program. There are 4 errors. Undefined symbol book in the function main. We'll open the program again. Alt F9. There's still errors available. So we'll do some, probably due to saving there's some problem. We'll save this. And compile the program. We get the error again. Statement missing in there are no statements missing. So there might be some compiler error. Just close the program and reopen the compiler, the editor. Compile. So what exactly is the issue? So we'll see in a minute what exactly is the problem. We have a struct book, so we'll see. We have to use struct keyword sometime. Okay, so we can get rid of the error using a struct keyword here. Struct book. So now there are no errors. It compiles fine. We can save this program. And we'll do Control F9. So you can see it prints the value of book 1, book number 1, book name and book price, and book 2, book name, book number and book price separately. So this way you can input and output values Using the dot operator, you have to access the individual values. So you have to put the struct keyword here. It's a simple program. Hope you understood this program. So we'll go to the next program. So here we have an array of book. Again, I'll use a struct keyword here. So don't forget to use the struct keyword. Now we declared the same book of same data type book, and we declared a character dummy variable, a struct book b3 of size 3. So this is of type struct book, and we say enter book data once we can see. So then we have a for loop to get the values. We are not using a function, we are using a simple for loop to get the values. So here we are using array of size 3. So we want to get value for book of 0, book of 1 and book of 2. So we have used this for loop. So if you don't remember the for loop, you can go back and check the videos of for loop. So first we take value for b of 0 dot book number. Then we take value for b of 0 dot book name. So why do we use this dummy character here? So if we don't use the dummy character, so once we enter the book number and press enter, that enter will be going into book name. So we'll see. I'll comment this and we'll see what happens exactly. I'll do Alt F9. So there's a warning here. So because we have not used the dummy variable, no problem. So we will do Control F9 to run the program. You see it says enter book number for book 0. So after that, if I enter a book number of 111 and press enter, you can see it says it's not giving a chance for us to enter the book name. So it's directly going for book price. So what happened is when we press 111 and press enter, that enter word goes inside the book name. So we cannot give the inputs like this. So it becomes very difficult if you use a scanf after some statement. If you are trying to scan a character variable. So we should use a dummy variable. You can give any name for that variable. I've just given a dummy variable. So I'll do Alt F9. I'll do Control F9 to run the program. Now if I give 111 and book name, you can see it gives me an option to write a C book name. I say C programming made easy, and I enter book price 300. To enter book number for 1, I'll just say 222. We'll say MS Office. Book price, I'll say 350.50. So book number of third 333. Press enter and I'll give a book name called Linux Essentials, and I give the price as 350.99. Press enter. You can see we get the values like this. So it's not a pretty good output. It depends upon how you format. You can see why we used the /t character here 2 times. So it's giving a 2 tab space here and again 2 tab space here. Here also it's giving 2 tab space, but it's not easily good formatted because of the value we have given are too long. So this way we can enter the values of individual books using a for loop. One by one iterate through each value. So b of 0 is one book, b of 1 is another book, b of 2 is another book. This way we can have n number of books using arrays, and we can print the values using a for loop again. So we will see one more program. So in this we are using a function getBook to get the value of one single book. So we have a struct book. We will again write here struct. Okay, it should not be, all keywords should be in small case always. Struct. Okay. Now we have a struct book. So don't forget write this semicolon. So we have a function getBook. So we have used, you can see, b pointer notation. So we are giving a value or static values. We are not taking from the keyboard. We are giving a static value in the functions. So whenever you call this function, you get the same values. You're not going to get the different values. For book 1, B2, I'll just say B, comma, B2. I can call this function again. Control V to paste, and B2. I can print the same values for B2. So I can write function one time and call n number of times. That is the advantage of functions. We don't have to write the functions again and again with the same code again and again in the main function. Instead, we can keep it separately and use whenever we want. We already use string copy function, math function, power function. So now I want to print the value of book 2. So I'll do Alt F9. There are some errors. Book cannot start a parameter declaration. Okay, so we have to provide struct keyword everywhere. Alt F9. So you can see both books have same value because these are static values. We are not taking from the keyboard. These are static values in the functions. Whenever you call this function, you get the same function. Either for book 1 or book 2, we get the same values. So we will see how to give values from the keyboard. So we use the same getBook. We'll use a struct keyword here. So we have declared a structure of type book, and we are sending address to this getBook function. You can see we call getBook and send the address of B1. So we're just taking value of one book variable. So here we declared B number, B name, and B price, 3 variables to get the values from the user, and a dummy variable. I told you why we use dummy variable. So printf will enter a values, tell the user to enter book number, name, and price. The user will enter book number, and then when he enters, that enter will go to dummy. Because it's an input stream, it will be taken by the next scanner statement near the character, and then we can take the string B name and then scanf. Now we assign those values to the pointers. Remember this, we should not use star B pointer. We have to use B pointer and an indirection. This is also called as an indirection operator. So you have to use to point the individual variables in the structure. You have to use this one, pointer dash greater than book number. So we have to use a string copy function to copy the character string array to this book name. So we have to use this way when we use a pointer. So this star B pointer will be a pointer, but to point the individual values, you have to use B pointer dash arrow mark book number, B pointer dash arrow mark book name, B pointer dash arrow mark book price. Then we can assign whatever the values we have taken from the user, B number, B name, and B price to the values. So it will automatically be returned to the main function values because we are sending the address of B1. So now B pointer will also be pointing to the same memory location. So whenever you access anything, do any changes with B pointer locations, the book number, name, and price, so it will be affected to this book 1, the same location, and we can print the values here. So I'll compile this program and run the program. Control F9. So it says enter book number. I'll say 111. Book number is C programming. Price is 300. And press enter. You can see get the values like this. So it's very simple to use pointers even with structures. So I told you if we want to get rid of this dummy character, we don't want this dummy character to be here. So we can delete the dummy character, and there's a function called flush all. FLUSHALL. This is a function available in the standard input output library, standard stdio.h. You can use flush all function. So once you scan the book number and press enter, so whatever is there in the input stream, that the enter symbol which you have entered, enter is also a character, so that will be flushed and input stream will be flushed, and you can get a fresh value. You don't have to use a dummy variable here. We'll save this program and compile this and run the program. Control F9. So I say book name 111, name MS Office, price 350. So you can see we can get the value like this. So I just misprint MSIO Office because of a typo error. It's a typo. So we can use this flush all function from the standard input output library to flush all the characters in the input stream. So once we take the book number, then we don't need the enter character in the flush stream. So we can use this flush all function. So flush all will be helpful whenever you're taking multiple scanf statements to scan characters or get string gets gets function. So we are just calling this function. You see get book 1, and then we are printing the values. So you can, if you want to use one more variable and get the value B2 or maybe C1, so you can call the same function again. C1. So we can call these functions like this, and I'll do R2 F9 and control F9. So you can take value for 2 books. I'll give 111. Say C programming, and price is 300.99. So it prints the values and it's requesting for the other values, say 222 MS Office 350. You can see it prints the second value. So we just said it prints the value of the second book, MS Office, everything. I'll just give it here book 1. You can just change it to 2 if you want. So this way we can use the same function to get n number of books. So you can reuse the code. Reusability is one option you get by functions. So you can also use a for loop to get 2 books, but instead you can use this whenever you want. See, when you use a for loop, you can only get data continuously. For 10 books, you can get the data continuously. If you want to get value for 10 books, you can go for loops. But if you want to get one book whenever you want, it's not like continuous. You want one value of one book and do some manipulations, so do some calculation. Then again, you want some other book. So then you don't have to go for a for loop. You can use a function. You can get the value of one book, do whatever operations you need to you want to do, and then after, whenever you want call one more function, you want to get a value of one more book, you can just call the get book function. So these functions will be useful to whenever you want. You can call the code and make use of the code. Friends, in this video we have learned about a structure. So structures are very important if you are going forward to learn C++. Structure is kind of a foundation for you. So please concentrate on structure. If you don't understand, go back to the videos and learn again and again. Try your own data types like car, account number, account holder, all these things. It's very important. Friends. In this video, we'll learn structure. Thank you for watching this video.